So good afternoon everyone. Thank you for being here. Oh wait, I belum buka topik. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry, one more time. Okay, so good afternoon everyone. Thank you for being here. So I believe that today we are here to actually discuss that there are really many factors that actually contribute to the uncleanliness of public toilets in Malaysia. And so today we are here to actually discuss how public toilets can be improved. So in my opinion, I believe that education is actually one of the main ways that one can actually help to improve public cleanliness of the public toilets. This is because education actually helps one to develop more critical thinking, starting from a very young or very ripe age. And I believe that prevention is definitely better than cure. So through developing critical thinking, one can actually analyze a situation logically and also can differentiate whether they should do that or not and whether the situation is right or not. For example, after using the toilet, should they flush or not? So I believe that through education, it actually helps them to know when and where to do the right thing. And besides that, I also believe that education actually has two different ways, which is actually formal education and also informal education. So personally, I believe that formal education, which is actually taught in schools or any other education institutions, this can be actually implemented as part of the syllabus so that they can actually learn or absorb it faster. For example, it can be included in civic or actually moral education, or they can actually organize workshop or various hands-on activities so that students can get a more realistic scenario and so that they can understand the consequences of their actions more realistically. And the other type of education is actually informal education, which can be done outside education institutions. For example, the best example would be at home. So parents should actually monitor their child and actually give them advice, and it is actually another way of education which is more closer to them. And I believe that by giving them advice and also giving them, for example, a maybe reward system if they have done the right thing, can actually let them understand the implications and also consequences of doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. And so this is actually my point. What do you think about it, Candidate B?
Well, thank you, Candidate A. For me, I think to keep the cleanliness of the public toilet, we can impose compound on people. Why do I say so? It is because people love money. Why would they pay for something that's unthinkable like that? So I think imposing compound can make people actually more aware that keeping cleanliness for the toilet is important. This is also because older people usually won't listen if we just fought them and tell them that we should keep the toilet clean, we should flush after we use them. They will only listen if they have to give something, if they don't do it. And so I believe imposing compound on people is actually a big contribution to keep the public toilet clean. And also that money that they collect from imposing compound can actually be used to keep the toilet clean by hiring more cleaner and make more frequent. And that I think education is only useful if for the younger generation, because when they will teach, of course they will have it in their mind, but as the time goes by, people will usually forget about what they learn in school or what their mother and father learn, because when we grow older, people won't actually tell us again and again the same thing. They will like, just let her be or just let him be. Whatever he wants to do, just let him be. So I think imposing compound is a rather effective way to make sure that our public toilet in Malaysia keep clean. I think that's all from me. What do you think, Candidate C?
Thank you, Candidate B. I do agree with both of your points, where education is one of the factors that contribute to that can help to improve the public toilets. So by giving education to the youngsters, it can actually give early awareness to the society, even at an early age. For example, as students. For example, one of the important roles in maintaining the cleanliness of, in helping to improve the cleanliness of public toilet is school, where they can actually give talk or educate the students about the importance of keeping the toilet clean. For example, they can actually do this campaign every week. Even it is a 3-minute talks also would be suffice. So the youngster will get used to it until they are old. So they will bear in mind that we should keep our toilet clean, because it's not only us that will be using the toilet, but everyone in Malaysia will be using it. So I would like to add one more point. How can public toilets best be improved? Which is, we can conduct regular supervisions, specifically the government, so that we can keep in track what facilities that cannot be used on that particular time, such as if the flush is not functioning. So by doing this, we can the person in charge, such as the government, can take action in repairing the broken parts, so that everyone can use the toilet again, and we can actually keep the toilet clean. So what are your guys' ideas?
So personally, after listening to candidate C, I do understand her point of view. However, I would like to keep my stand on my point of view that education is actually still the core factor, because even though conducting regular supervisions will actually be a great way to improve the cleanliness, however, if the core or even the root problem, which is the people themselves, they do not change their behavior, which can actually be effectively corrected through education, I believe that this problem would not have a very concrete solution. And I believe that education actually comes in different shapes and sizes. For example, they can actually use their parents as their role models. This is why non-formal or informal education is actually relatively as important as formal education. And according to candidate C, I also agree that various talks can actually be implemented in school to actually help them to increase their awareness, as well as various workshops, activities, or even camps. I believe that schools should also maybe provide them with assignments that help them to look into the core or root problem of the uncleanliness of public toilets, so that the students themselves can actually brainstorm or actually think of more concrete solutions that can help to solve this problem. What do you think about this, candidate B?
Okay, I still do have my stand in imposing compound in keeping the toilet in Malaysia clean. I think because I do agree that she said, the candidate A said before, that education is important, but like I said before, even though they are important, people tend to forget what they were taught when they were younger. And people, when they are getting older, people won't tell them again and again the same thing, that they should keep the toilet clean, or even if they were told, they won't usually listen. So one best way to keep them and to tell them that keeping cleanliness of public toilet is important, by imposing compound, because everybody likes money, right? So who would pay for something that is maybe sound ridiculous to them? So of course, they will think that rather than I pay for keeping them clean, I will just keep them clean myself and save my money to buy food or anything else.
Excuse me, may I interrupt to your point?
Yes, you may.
I am sorry, but I kind of disagree with the point that you said. Why would we pay for only for the toilet? Let's say if we are rich, to pay anything that we want, we can just pay for that fine. For that fine, because we know we have money. So why would I take care of the toilet? Why would I keep the cleanliness of the toilet? Because I know I have the money. But instead of the poor people, there might have the big possibility that they will take care of the cleanliness of the toilet. But how about the rich people?
I think rich people, they have their own education, you know, like they have been taught, they have the decorum they must follow. they have been teach like when they eat, they have to use fork and spoon and something like that. So of course they must think like, oh, just paying the fine is okay for me. It may be small to them, but still, if you were to pay the fine every single time you go to the public toilet, would you rather be annoyed? You just need to keep visiting the office to pay them one time 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and after a week, if every day you go to the public toilet and every day you got fined 1,000 ringgit, at the end of the week you will pay like 7,000 ringgit. And of course, rich people also love money. Why would they waste their money on something like that? Do you think people like Elon Musk, who is rich, very very rich, will just go to the public toilet and keep them unclean and just, oh, I got money for this, so I'll just pay it later at the office? So I think that's not so I think that's not quite right, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay, after listening to the point of candidate C, where you mentioned that rich people are usually educated to do the right thing, really educated to do the right thing, I still believe it brings back to how education should actually be the core or the solution for each problem. So I believe I still stand by my point that education is actually still the most effective way by how public toilets can actually be improved. What do you guys think?
Well, after listening to all of you guys' point, I actually do agree with candidate A's point, because I think imposing compound is actually one of the way of indirect education, because it somehow can teach people that keeping cleanliness is important. So I think I do agree with candidate A's point.
Okay. In a nutshell, both three of us do agree that one of the ways to improve public toilets is by giving education to the society, as it gives a lot of effective effect to us. So thank you guys